Alright, let's talk about the motorcycle. Hello everybody, this is Don't Touch the Boat, and today I'm going to be giving you my analysis for the latest Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailer. If you have been buzzing around the internet towards these dedicated video game groups, be it a Metroid group, a Nintendo group, or just a video game group in general, you'll see plenty of Discord revolving around this latest trailer. It's the bike in the desert. That's what has people really talking. And you got one end of it where people are super excited. Samus is on a motorcycle. It's so cool. And you've got the other side of people are saying, why is she on a motorcycle? This is kind of dumb. This big open desert. Just no thank you. And you got people in the middle who are thinking, I don't know how to feel about this right now. We'll just have to wait and see. I want to see more before I make a judgment. And if you've seen my raw reaction to this gameplay reveal, to this latest trailer, then you know I was on the second camp. I was in the why. Like, why is this in here? This looks dumb. I don't want the big open desert. But it's been a few days. I've slept on it. My mind's a bit clearer about it. And now I'm more in the middle camp of like, let's wait and see what happens. Because I've been thinking about other games that have done something similar to this. It's like, you know what? This could end up working. So we're going to go a bit step by step on the trailer and just talk about things in detail, my thoughts. And let's get right into it. So right off the bat, this shot of the towers actually looks pretty good when you're looking at it from this perspective. But at this angle right here is where I thought, oof. That doesn't look so good because you can see the details are like flat and stretched out where that light hits. And the lighting itself just looks so smeared on there. It doesn't really tell me that this is a current day video game coming out. If someone had told me, if someone had showed this to me without me knowing the context, if they'd shown me this image right here and said this was cut content from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, I would have believed that. I would have fully believed, oh wow, so maybe it was more to do with the Twilight Realm, or maybe Ganon taking over the castle was going to twist it around into something evil, because this does look like Wii graphics, GameCube even, like that. It looks rough, like that. This trailer got me off to a pretty bad start, just on the looks of it. But if you keep going with the trailer, you go back to this shot where you're at the door, it looks pretty good. Like, it looks great, actually. Like, yeah, I could definitely see this and say, yeah, that's something modern. Like, you look at the spires on the right that are getting hit by the lightning, they look fine. They look great. I love the way that the blue light that's within their base, like, it glows against the rest of it. That looks great. The details on those buildings in the background look fine. Like, they're not perfect. I can kind of see, like, yeah, they're not super refined, but they look great. Like, they look like the kind of background I'd expect in a Switch 1 game. Remember, this is at base a Switch 1 game. And even the tower, I imagine this was the tower we had a zoomed in shot of just a few seconds ago. It also looks great. And everything about it is like, it's got me thinking, hey, maybe they shouldn't have put that shot of that close-up of the tower, because that didn't look good. And now we get this shot right here, and this is where I was fully convinced that we were getting a port of an older game. I was fully convinced this was from Bayonetta. I've never played any Bayonetta games. I have Bayonetta 3. Got it for like 20 bucks. Still haven't touched it. But just from what I've seen of Bayonetta gameplay, I thought, oh yeah, this looks like Bayonetta art style. And just because of how kind of bad it looks, like, if you watched this trailer on your phone, if you're watching this video on your phone, I encourage you to put down your phone, turn on your TV or your computer, get on a bigger screen, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I say that these details here do not look good. Like, the smudgy reflections coming from the wheels, the very jagged lines everywhere, this detailing, it looks like they tried to make something like a ribbed surface, but it just comes across as so jagged and undone. This close-up shot was a mistake. And I've seen people try to blame the trailer team, like, not the developers, it's whoever made the trailer, but I have a feeling we're gonna get this shot in the game, like it's the first time Samus comes up to the motorcycle. And I know in a lot of like movies and TV shows, when someone's walking up on their bike or their truck, they kind of kick into that gear porn mentality. It's like, look at how cool this truck is. Look at the rims. Look at the tires. Look at the suspension, the exhaust. And that's great if the design of said truck also looked good. And this shot just doesn't look good. This really looks like something from the Wii. So, this shot was a mistake. I think zoomed back, I'm sure if the details weren't this close up, like the camera wasn't this close, these bad details wouldn't stand out, you know, and that's just a flaw in gaming design in general, is the closer you get to an object in a game, the more you see the flaws in its overall design. So, I'm really just confused as to why anyone thought that this shot of this wheel was a good idea. Because it really had me going thinking this was an older game that's getting ported, like a game from 15-ish years ago that's getting ported to consoles now. So, yeah, kind of loss of confidence in details, you know, because you look at other shots in the older games of something close up like this, like Samus's helmet, or even in the older trailers, where it's like, yeah, it looks great, like the first Metroid Prime 4 reveal we got in June of 2024, people were convinced that was Switch 2 gameplay. It looked so good. But now, people are looking at this shot and being convinced this is Wii gameplay. So, not a good idea to have the camera up on this spot. At the very least, they should have, for this cutscene, upgraded the visuals of this wheel, of the bike in general. The bike has a lot of problems. We're going to get into it as we get to the next frame. So, it was this shot right here. You know, in my live reaction, I was like, oh yeah, it's like a Bayonetta game, a Wii game. The moment I saw Samus's red suit going into it, I thought, oh no, this is Metroid Prime 4! Because Metroid Prime 4, Metroid Prime in general is known as like the best graphics that Nintendo delivers. And that's, you know, that's subjective in a lot of ways, depending on how someone likes their art styles, but when it comes to sort of that realistic detail, like that fine detail to make something really, make it look like they're really maximizing the power of their hardware, Metroid is one of those things that stands out as like a graphical tech demo for Nintendo. As you even go back to the first game on the GameCube, you see, a lot of people don't understand this, but the PlayStation 2 actually had the weakest hardware back then. But people like to say it was the GameCube because, like, well, it's Nintendo, you know, they're known for having less powerful graphics and their less powerful hardware, and you know, they just make childish, cartoonish kid games. And yeah, but at the time, the GameCube had more processing power than the PS2, and then you had the Xbox, it was just kind of on its own level as far as what it could do. Like, Microsoft did not hold back on the power of that thing, but yet you look at the difference between a game like the first Metroid Prime, you compare it to something like Halo, and it's pretty clear, like, yeah, Metroid does look better. Granted, there's different gameplay designs, you know, Halo was kind of more widespread in some of its maps, so, like, there's only so many polygons that you can spare for your characters. But Metroid Prime, I think even still to this day, looks good. They really got the motion, like the animations of their characters going at 60 frames per second. It still looks good, and the remaster made it look any better. So just to see this shot really had me thinking, there's no way this is Metroid Prime 4. Like, come on. Because even though you look at this handlebar, this sort of conch shell, once again, the camera is too close for its own good. Like, they could not make this look as sharp as it needed to. Like, I imagine this is the same model, like the asset that they use in gameplay, because I don't know if Retro Studios ever does that. Like, they've always made their games, there's not like a separate cutscene, what do you call it, like cutscene quality, like what you have for your gameplay models, like Samus running around and like the enemies there. Those are reused in the cutscenes. It's like if you played God of War 2, the original God of War 2, not the Norse ones. Even the first one. Well, yeah, the first two in general, you had your gameplay graphics, but then you also had your cutscene graphics. But then you get to God of War 3, where they used the gameplay creations, like the gameplay models, as their cutscene models. And Metroid's always done the latter version, where it's like, we're not gonna have a different cinematic team, we're just gonna use the assets that we've already made for the game and put those into our trailers, put those into our cutscenes. So I'm really thinking right here, though, maybe Nintendo should have maybe Retro should have kind of changed things around a bit, because, like, we don't see a lot of stuff in the background here. Like, I highly doubt this environment Samus is in needs a lot of polygons to give it details. So I'm just thinking, for this shot of her getting on the bike, they really should have rerouted that polygon resource count to the bike to make it really stand out, rather than just sticking with the base design of the motorcycle. I mean, Samus herself, like, she looks fine in this, but, like, it's not perfect, but Samus she stands out as, like, the details on Samus look so much better than what we see on the bike. And, and granted, there is good to that. It's like they understood we're going to be looking at Samus in this suit more than anything else in the game, so it needs to have the best details. But I'm still thinking, like I said before, the environment, they should have sacrificed some of the polygons in the environment and given it to the bike for this cutscene. Now, this shot right here with her riding out, I immediately thought, she's coming to Mario Kart World. That's good. I had been pushing for Samus to be part of Mario Kart as far back as when Metroid Prime 4 was rerouted to Retro. I've even seen some comics where people are like, from the beginning of Mario Kart 8, where it's like, hey, bring Samus to Mario Kart, like, she doesn't have a lot going on right now, so, like, don't let people forget about her, but they put the Splatoon kids in instead, which is fine, because Splatoon was new and it was selling really well. I imagine Splatoon was kind of one of those tentpole franchises in the Wii U day, where it's like, wow, we have something that's actually doing pretty well. Let's capitalize on this, But yeah, this bike had me thinking, oh, she's coming to Mario Kart World, and what we see here is her own arena, like her own track that's being added to the Mario Kart World map. I don't have Mario Kart World. I don't have a Switch 2, and I don't plan on getting a Switch 2 until there's a game that comes out that I'm really interested in, where I need a Switch 2 to play it. And that hasn't happened yet. I fully plan on playing this on my Switch 1 OLED. That's why I bought it. So, anyway, I thought Mario Kart World. But then you get to the... okay, I will say, it does look cool right here. Like, right here. This shot, especially in motion, this is fine. Like, now you can see the ribbed lighting on here at a distance. The lighting works really well in this shot. Like, even on the conch shell handlebars, you can kind of see it's not the finest detail. This is probably as close as they should have ever had the camera get to the bike. Because this at a distance looks perfectly fine. Like, I would look at this and say, oh yeah, that is a modern game. That's even probably a Switch 2 game. Then you get to the desert, and this is where I just, once again, my heart kind of sunk. Because it's like, okay, you have this big stretch of desert, and you have this motorcycle to get around on it. Nintendo, there's a particular ability that Samus has had since Super Metroid. Something that gives her the power to rapidly go from one point to another and even smash through some obstacles, completely crush enemies in her way, and also jump up like a basically a Superman takeoff into the air. And it baffles me that it's not here. It's like, I think it would have been so much cooler to have Samus running around in this area with her speed booster. That's one thing about Metroid that I've always loved, is that Samus and her suit are very adaptable to the situation. Okay, go think about Zelda Breath of the Wild, okay? You go to a heated area like the desert, and Link starts sweating it out. He's like, oh, he's dying. Well, you gotta cool him down. You either eat something that cools him down, or you wear armor that cools him down, or you hold on to a weapon that cools him down. You get up to the volcano, where now he's getting cooked. Well, how do you protect him from that? The only protection from that is either a fireproof elixir or the fireproof armor. But you have to switch between those things. You have to like go to your menu, switch to have those things on or off to consume those things. But with Metroid, once you get the various suit, it's just on you forever. You can now go into hot zones and not get hurt by the heat. Or in some of the older games, you now have the gravity suit. You can jump into lava and not get hurt by the lava. The light suit. You can now jump into this giant pool of acid while being in the Dark Realm, and you will not be harmed. That's one thing I've loved about Metroid, is just how immediately adaptable Samus and her suit are. And having this motorcycle here just makes you think, okay, where's the speed booster? Like, are you saying that Samus is not adaptable anymore? Like, she can't bring within herself and her armor the abilities that she needs. Like, now I get it, she has a ship to get around. I do appreciate that kind of limitation to what she could do. Like, I don't expect her to fly around like Superman and go in super speed, hyper speed through space, but we've just seen in previous Metroid games, Samus is capable of running very fast. And you look into even some of the extended content, she's going like the speed of sound. Which I don't expect that in gameplay, but it's just still... Where is the speed booster, Nintendo? Now, that quick shot right there where she pops a wheelie... it's like... immediately... Like, you tap a button and she's just... There's like no frames in between her being both tires on the ground and a tire in the air. And it's like... Oh, I thought it was like two clips sewn together awkwardly, but no. You see later on in the gameplay trailer when she's shooting at the robots, she pops a wheelie, and you see it once again. It's just boom. The wheel is just up in the air, like no frames at all. Now, this shot where it's zoomed out, this was another part that made my heart sink for this trailer. Just, it's so empty. There's, like, I know you can see things in the background. You can kind of see what looks like a rocky mountain over there on the left. You got some kind of a tower in the distance over there. You got whatever this ruin is. It looks like an old Federation outpost. And you got that flashing chest. Like, I know there are going to be things to do, but it makes me wonder how much boredom is there going to be going from A to B to get there? Like, is the only thing they're gonna add in to entertain you during this travel are those random robots popping up, the wheel and the flying guy? Because I'm not... No, I'm afraid that's not what I look for in Metroid. In other games, yeah, no matter like where you spawn in, you're always gonna have the enemies respawn as well. Like, once you leave the room, they come back. But by the end of the game, when you have something like the plasma beam and the screw attack, they become very, very weak obstacles. You're kind of in God mode at that point. You're just plowing through them. And for real, and at that point, it's just the environment itself. The platforming is your challenge. You know, it's like, oh, you gotta make it through this awkward jump. Like, now you have to use the speed booster and make this jump. You gotta jump on the walls here, spider ball here. So the enemies are just kind of there as padding, maybe give yourself a little bit of health and ammo, but it's the environment that is your challenge at that point. And I'm looking at this like, okay, once you get all of your abilities in this game, like all of your upgrades, where's the challenge going to be in traveling around here? Like, what is it just going to be the enemies coming in, the robots, you just plow through them and you're done? Because, like, there's no obstacles in this desert. You see, a lot of people like to say, well, Metroid is all about isolation, and this is like a different take on isolation, and that is true, but the isolation that I appreciate about Metroid is that in most cases, like, you are the only human that is here, and you are the only person who can save the day. Like, the first Metroid Prime, like, Samus is the only human, like, pretty much the only person with good intentions that's there at that point. The Chosen have been wiped out. Some of them turned into crazy ghosts. You got the space pirates and their mining and their genetics operations. You got Metroid Prime itself just harvesting all the Phazon. You got Phazon that's spreading across. So like Samus is the only, and all the wildlife too that just wants to kill you. Samus was the only benevolent entity in Metroid Prime 1. That's that kind of isolation that I've always liked about Metroid. Like, you are the only one here that has any chance of saving the day. Metroid Prime 2, you find the dead Federation troopers. It just kind of shows like, yeah, even with like all of this gear and training that they had, they did not last very long. They got taken out by some of the weakest enemies in the game. And then you've got the Luminoth, who are down to like 20 members remaining. You're finding their corpses all over the planet. That isolation lays into like, you are the only one who can save the day, Samus. Metroid Prime 3 kind of has the same idea. Like, you have the Federation working directly with Samus and the other bounty hunters, but other bounty hunters get corrupted by Phazon and Dark Samus. And Samus shows like an increasing willpower to not give in to the corruption. And then the Federation troopers can only do so much on their own. So once again, it's that level of isolation and that aspect of like, you're the only one that can do this, Samus. So I'm not getting, that's the isolation that I like in Metroid. That's what I'm seeing here on this screen with this desert is not the isolation that I want in Metroid. I want things to constantly do, things to look at, and this might be, out of all the desert regions I've seen in games, this might be the blandest one of all time. But now we got these enemies that pop up. We got these robots, like I mentioned earlier. It seems that there is a lock-on system that Samus has. She targets it, and a sort of disc comes out the back of the motorcycle and shoots at this enemy that's flying. He's dropping these purple bombs on you. You gotta dodge and weave. And once again, I'm just picturing to myself, I feel like the speed booster and Samus with her arm cannon would have made for more interesting gameplay. Just, yeah, that's just it. Like, why don't you just pull out your arm cannon right now, Samus? Like, you have all kinds of blasters and missiles and beams. Like, go for it. Like, I genuinely believe like they could have made speed booster work in third person, but I think someone probably high up on the Nintendo executive chain said, motorcycles are the new deal. We put it in Breath of the Wild. We're technically gonna have them in Tears of the Kingdom. You could build one. We have them in newest Pokemon games, so you need to put a motorcycle in Metroid. It feels more like an executive decision than a creative decision. So, okay, she shoots that one down, and then these ones, she does the Akira slide. You can kind of see that purple wave of energy is like your melee attack on the bike. And gameplay-wise, this looks fine. I'm just still thinking to myself, I would have preferred Speed Booster. I would have loved to see how the Speed Booster would be implemented into combat like this. Looks like we got some kind of a gauge here, so, you know, she's up to 888, and you've got, she's driving around, you've got that green booster bar that goes up, and it also seems to go up into 2 extra ticks, whatever that means. Maybe it's an upgrade for, you have like a boost meter, so it looks like your bike is going to be getting upgraded to a degree. Hopefully not too much of the game and its puzzles revolve around your bike, because like even in Metroid Prime 3, you get ship upgrades, like your ship can now launch missiles, your ship now has a grapple beam, but you also found ship missile expansions, which I didn't even know you could call in your ship in a bunch of areas. Like, you kind of you kind of just had to have your ship visor on at all times to figure that out, of like, oh hey, I can have my ship bombard this area. So I'm really hoping that the best puzzles are not left to bike upgrades, in the same way that Metroid Prime 3 had some of its puzzles were your ship missile expansion, which rarely got used. Now we get into a lava zone. Speed is limited, so a lot of people are speculating this, and this is what I hope is to be true. Is the desert area is a lot like Twilight Princess Hyrule Fields, and your bike is a lot like Epona. For some areas, you technically can get around on foot in Hyrule Fields the same way as in the desert if you want to. It's just going to take a lot longer. And also, there are going to be some obstacles that you need your bike to get over. Like that ramp we saw, that jump. Kind of like with Epona, you needed her to get over some fences in some of the games. So, I am hoping it's more like old school Zelda than the newer takes on Zelda. But we're in this lava zone. Cool little front flip off her bike. And what do we see here? Her HUD. We've got 65 missile count. We've got missile launcher with nothing else. She has 4 additional energy tanks. That's all I can see so far. I love how the compass, how her map has a compass in there. And personally, I kind of hope that they let you get on the map and set a pin. And that pin kind of makes like a tracking, like a trail that you follow on this map in the corner. So that way you know like what direction to go, what doors to take. Is one thing about, you know, with how maze-like the Metroid games are, I'm always jumping back and forth on my map to make sure I'm taking the right path to get somewhere. So I would love a bit of a path, like a trail of breadcrumbs for you to set up for yourself. So it keeps going. We got some enemies that we're fighting, and they all look fine. This combat all looks great. Robots, like, this is what I expect. Like, everything that I want comes from that gameplay shot. Like that, all that gameplay and combat right there looks great. That's exactly what I expect, exactly what I'm looking forward to. But now, this shot with the wolves. Oh, I'm just gonna call them wolves. They look great running up to Samus, but in combat, they come across as so flat looking, and the way that the red like damage highlight is colored on them, it really makes it stand out how kind of flat and blotchy these creatures are. Like, just looking at them running at you, the details look so smeared on. And we're at this point now, like, I know Nintendo is behind on hardware, and that's just what they do, and that's fine, because they find ways to make it work. But like, that doesn't look like fur. That looks more like a shell. Like, this looks like something I'd expect from Metroid Prime 3. Like, these guys look more like bugs than they do wolves when you look at this shot. And it's just, once again, like, for this scene, like, you've got all of that fog around you. Couldn't they have, like, for momentarily, okay, all the polygons for the environment that's back here, like all these buildings and like the cliffs, whatever might be in the background, we're gonna digitally erase that and hide that behind a fog. And now we're gonna give those polygons to these wolves to make them good up close. I'm not a game designer. I don't really know how it works, but I feel like that's something they could do, because it's like, come on, like, you mean to tell me oh, we can't sacrifice polygons here to give them to here? Like, no, I feel like you can. Like, we see it in games. Like, you know, like, you get pop-up, like you're playing like a game like Batman, Arkham City, and or even Arkham Knight, and you're flying through the city at high speed, and there's some graphical pop-up, you know, like some of the details kind of pop in as you're going like over different parts of the city. That's how it works, you know. It's like, hey, drop the polygons in this zone that's far away and bring it into what's in our immediate area. So why couldn't they do that here? It just doesn't look good. So a couple other things we gotta point out. Samus has, looks like, an additional energy tank, one more than before. She also has 15 additional missiles. She also has this new beam ammo meter, which is a nice callback to Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, which is my favorite Metroid game, my favorite Metroidvania game, one of my top 5 favorite games of all time, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. I wonder if this has to do with that psychic homing beam that we saw in the March Direct. Because, yeah, I can't imagine they let you just fire that one without any expense, because you're technically, like, pausing the game into, like, a bullet time. It'd be pretty easy to just take out a bunch of enemies again and again and again. So if that's where that is, like, that's your ammo count, I appreciate that. You know, it limits you. I like it when games give you certain limitations. We also have what appears to be a flame weapon, probably got from that lava zone that we saw earlier. And I hope that that flame weapon isn't just a flamethrower, like the Metroid Prime 1 flamethrower ability, like the beam combo. It was pretty like, yeah, it was there. It was fun to just mess around with, but not really effective in combat, because the plasma beam on its own was so great. I do wonder, though, if... See, right now she has missiles selected. I do wonder if going to the flamethrower, is that going to change, like, your utility weapon, like this counter on the right? Or is it going to change the entire beam as well? And that's just something to think about. Like, does this represent power beam as your missile? And then is this going to represent your flame-style weapons? We'll see what happens. Get to a nice little Lamorne statue. I got not much to say about this shot. I mean, it looks great. Looks like, you know, ancient artifacts. She's probably gaining a new ability. But yeah, like I see this, I'm like, yes, this is what I want in Metroid. Like, this is exactly what I want. Grapple beam is back, yes, and I love how it comes directly out of her hand. This was something about Metroid Prime 3 that I liked more than the other games. Like, you go to the 2D games, Samus shoots her grapple beam out of her arm cannon. You go to Metroid Prime 1 and 2, she has like this additional mini cannon under her arm for her grapple. But Prime 3, it's almost like it's a part of her actual hand. And I always like that. And I like to imagine, like, ancient Chozo warriors had their grapple beam the same way. Or they kind of shot it out of their hand like they're throwing a lasso rather than shooting something under their wrist. And I love to see it utilized like this, where now you're pulling on something. Dread did a good job of that too, where the grapple beam was a lot less of just like, oh, use this to swing around and traverse. Like, here you actually have it to move obstacles, to open doors. So I'm glad to see that back here. I feel like a VR game of Metroid, you can make really good use of a grapple as like a weapon to lasso enemies and smack them around on each other. So I'm really happy to see it back like that. Nice little shot of her in the tower right here. I'm fully convinced we are getting the screw attack on this side where she's stuck. That's just how Metroid plays, because it looks like that little somewhat blue patch of ice is where she came from. Now, if the window's knocked it down, you gotta get an ability to get yourself back. I love how Metroid does that. I was recently playing Ori and the Will of the Wisps, how you get yourself to one of the upgrade trees, and if you don't grab that upgrade or don't use the upgrade given to you there, you're not making it out of there. Like, that's just it. You can't get out of that area. So I love it, how it just immediately, the game says, you have a new ability, here's a way to use it. Like, here's how to get yourself out of this grind that you're in. Now we get to this shot, and these crates moving around. I don't really know what it is. Probably a Lamorne facility. Maybe Silux and his space pirates have an operation, gathering some kind of resource, who knows. And Silux has a jetpack, and that's kind of cool. I think that makes him a very capable villain, but oh, this close-up shot of him. Guys, this doesn't look good. I mean, I've seen people joking saying, well, he was originally a DS character after all, so it's like kind of a joke of saying like, yeah, they literally like copied and pasted his DS design like pixel by pixel. But this shot, just his chest plate is what stood out to me before anything else, of just how pixelated and the aliasing and jaggedy, and just these metal plates right here, they don't look good. Like, it's very blurry, kind of tacked on. You can almost see like this weird blue tint along this edge just clashing. It's just not good. And you look at his helmet as well, it's almost like smudgy fingerprints are on it. Once again, very GameCube. This looks very GameCube era graphics, which for its time was fine, but now, you look at the lighting on his neck pipes here, as well as like his shoulder coils, his spikes here, it's all so jaggedy. It's like, oh, guys. And here's what's really confusing is in this same shot, you have Samus looking up at him. She looks great. This is probably the best shot they have, like graphically detailed. Like, her visor looks really crisp and clean. You can kind of see like the way the light reflects in the corner. That looks good. Like the blacks and the reds meshed together. The red is a very reflective surface. And it feels like all of the lighting reflecting on it is just perfectly smooth and polished. Like, I appreciate... Like, I imagine the devs understood Samus is going to be the thing we look at the most, so her character model is going to be carrying the most detail, the most pixels, the most polygons. But in shots like that of Psylocke coming down, it just makes me think, why didn't you make this look better? Because it doesn't look good. It is not stoking confidence in me as I'm watching these trailers. And I know graphics aren't everything, but there are just still moments when you play a game, and if something just looks that bad, it immediately kills your immersion. Like, oh, that looks rough, and you're just thinking about development and details and the artists and and quality assurance. You're like, how'd this make it past all of that? Like, who gave this the final green light to go gold? And then we finally get the thing we've all been waiting for, a reveal date, December 4th. Look good, not delayed till next year. The trailer they put out last year did not lie. The the British, whatever, that one Subway banner also did not lie. I mean, it did at first, but then they corrected it. ESRB rating coming out on August 20th. That also confirmed, yep, the game's coming this year. But December 4th, I will admit, my area of concern with that date is that it is post-Black Friday. Now, most of, like my generation, even the generation above me and the upcoming generation, Black Friday isn't the crazy mayhem that it used to be, like a decade ago when I was younger. It used to be like you had to be present at a store, and that's where you did all of your Christmas savings that you did were done with Black Friday. Like, you did all your shopping then, and whatever was the last few thing that you missed is something you could pick up at your local Walmart, and it would be something that's not expensive, something where it's not like, oh, well, there was a sale for it and I missed out on the sale, so I'm just not gonna get it. That's that kind of after Black Friday shopping we do. I think we underestimate how much people still do their shopping right after Thanksgiving. Granted, this is about a week after Thanksgiving, but I still think that sort of Black Friday shopping day has its pivotal moment in kind of our industry. So having this game come out after Black Friday, well, people are going to be spending their money on, kids, parents who are getting a Switch 2 for the first time. They're going to be getting their Mario Kart World. They're going to get their Kirby Air Riders. They're going to get their Zelda games. So, all that money that they had and they spent, but then they see, oh, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is now out. And I'm seeing it on these shelves. That's something you got to consider. Is a lot of these people who do shopping for games, they're not on the internet as much as we think they are. I don't have any exact data, but you got to work with me and understand that there is a crowd of people that don't live online quite as much as the rest of us do. So they don't really know that a game exists until they see it on shelves. And so now, people have done their Black Friday shopping the day after Thanksgiving, and then about a week later this game comes out, and people aren't going to really know that until the next time they go to this kind of a store to electronics, and that's probably not going to be until, I don't know, maybe Valentine's Day coming up for a loved one, or a kid's birthday the next year. But the Christmas shopping is essentially done at this point, so it's got me worried. It's the last Nintendo game that is coming out this year. And we all know that Metroid in general, has always struggled with sales. That's a whole nother video for another day, but putting Metroid as the last game, you could take it as, the bookend, the last hoorah for the year, but for the most part, it feels like they put it in the post-Black Friday dumping grounds. So it's just concerning in that aspect. I know anyone who's a Metroid fan that wants to play this game, they're going to buy it. Nintendo fans in general know that this game comes out this day, they're going to buy it. But all those people who still do most of their learning and shopping in the actual store, they're not going to see this until probably next year, 2026, because they've already done all their shopping. Then we get, this was actually interesting. The journey to launch begins. And then it specifies the Metroid Prime Trilogy visual retrospect, which I'm probably going to get, because I like that stuff. I still have the Metroid Prime Trilogy game, like the collector's edition with the metal case, and I like to flick through the arts that they did in there. Like, it's cool to look at just some of the designs they had. Even in the trilogy game itself, you can go through concept art. It's just really cool to like get the idea of like what were these guys thinking and like what designs did they have, and they thought, okay, like what can these characters do? What are their powers? What role do they play in the story? But calling it the journey to launch begins on that day, October 28th, it makes me wonder if the month of November is going to have more going on. I am still holding out for Metroid Prime 2 and 3 to get ported over, okay? We got Pikmin 1 and 2, came out about a month before Pikmin 4 hit shelves. We already had Pikmin 3 available on the Switch. You've got the Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out next year, and what did Nintendo announce in the same direct? Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are now coming to Switch, so like, Nintendo has the power to bring these older games to current hardware. And I'm just really hoping that they do the same thing with Metroid Prime, because we got the remaster for the first game, and that was awesome, especially being $40. So I'm really hoping that Metroid Prime 2 and 3, I'm not expecting a full-blown remaster, but at least an HD port. I feel like a lot of people are gonna want to play those games beforehand. I know for myself, I wasn't all that interested in Pikmin 4. I'd never played a Pikmin game. But when Nintendo's like, hey, Pikmin 1 and 2 are coming to Switch, I thought, I'm gonna try these out now. And so I played through all 4 games within the span of 2 months. Loved them. Like, they were great. Pikmin 4 was my game of the year for 2023. And that was my first time playing any Pikmin. I had a great time with those games. So Nintendo, use the games that you've made in the past as your marketing for this game. It works. And now Pikmin 4 has already sold better than Metroid Dread. And just like that, like, use what people have made in the past as a marketing tool to come play your newer game. Then we got right here some amiibos. Looks like they are also part of the journey. I am not one for amiibos. I've never bought one. I don't care for the bonuses they give. Honestly, my kids would tear these things apart. But these look cool. I do like kind of how stout Samus looks in this armor. Like, I've always liked her armor looking a bit more on the masculine side, because it's like the juxtaposition of how masculine Samus looks in her armor versus how feminine she is outside of it. I've always liked that about the Metroid games. You know, that the first game, after all, like, they purposely covered up the fact Samus was actually a woman as a nice surprise. And so I think there's sort of a meta reference to that. I mean, you even look at the Metroid Dread website, and it says something like, Samus is known across the galaxy as a famous bounty hunter, but very few people know who is actually under the armor. So I've got my own little headcanon that most of the galaxy thinks that Samus is a guy, while only those who work closely with her understand, oh, she's actually a woman. And Samus just rolls with it. Like, I don't imagine her being the one to really care to have, like, that part of her identity be made clear to everybody, because she's like, I'm just here to protect the galaxy. And it probably works better. I mean, you look at the manga, she lives alone. She looks like she kind of likes her own privacy, so maybe it works to her advantage to have people, like most people, thinking she's the opposite gender. You know, like, she's male. She's male. It's like, well, I'm actually female, but I'm gonna let you think that, just so, you know, people who want her dead are looking at the wrong half of the galaxy to try and find her. You got the Viola bike, Samus and Viola. Those of you who don't know what a viola is, it's like a larger version of the violin, not a cello, not a bass. It's almost indistinguishably bigger. For those who don't understand, I've only seen like one viola up close in my life. Like, some guy, when I was in college, I was on an elevator, and he had, like, I thought it was a violin case. I'm like, oh, you play violin? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, is it a viola? He's like, yeah. You're like one of the few people who knew what a viola was. I'm like, oh, I was in band, you know, like, I was taught the instruments. You got your violin, your viola, your cello, and your bass. So is this thing gonna play music? And apparently, it's also called the Viola suit. So this armor and this bike are kind of tied together. Personally, looking at it now, I think they just should have kept the bike as fully black and red and purple like the suit. Maybe later on in the game we'll get an upgrade where the suit gets like a silver patch on it. But personally, I love this suit design already. I don't want them to actually change that. Like, keep the shoulders smooth. Like, don't change anything about the Viola suit. I love how that thing looks. But I do wish the bike kept fully to that same color scheme. As for Silux, he's doing his iconic pose from Metroid Prime Hunters. But one of my friends pointed out to me, this guy has 4 fingers. Wow, the one in Metroid Prime Hunters had 3. Well, he had his thumb and 3 fingers. This one has a thumb and 4 fingers. So, what's going on here, Nintendo? You're pretty good at all those details. I have no idea what these amiibos are going to do as far as, like, gameplay-wise, and I just don't... Personally, I don't care. I'm not going to get them. More power to whoever who wants to get them. But for me, yeah, no thanks. I've just never cared for it. Well, that's enough rambling from this longtime Metroid fan. It has been nearly 4 weeks since this trailer has dropped, and honestly, I haven't been thinking very much about this game. Outside of making this video, which got delayed because of new work and a bit of traveling here and there, I haven't been thinking too much about this game, and that's actually kind of concerning, because the June 2024 trailer had me buzzing about this game. It's all I could think about, all I wanted to talk about. I kept, every day to and from work, I would listen to that trailer and just repeat. I probably got 1,000 views of that video on my own before the year was over. I was just so enthralled and so excited. But this one, I don't know. Just, I don't really think about it. And I don't have the game pre-ordered. I don't have really any plans to set time aside to play the game. It's just like, yeah, it's there. And that's just the unfortunate reality that I'm in right now, is this trailer has got me thinking, yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is a game that exists. Which is just sad, because it's not the only game that's done that for me. God of War Ragnarok, I was so excited for that game, and then just hearing the rumors about certain story points, the leaks, the game got leaked about a week before launch, and I was like, what? That's the story path they decided. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, when that one got leaked as well. Here's the thing, is like, yeah, I should stay away from leaks to keep my hype going, but at the same time, I kind of appreciate people who do leak those details, because that's helped me save money. Like, I didn't buy Tears of the Kingdom, but yet I still played it, if you catch my drift. And leaks as well. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm a huge fan of the Batman Arkham games. I'm actually replaying them as we speak, but Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the leaks came out, and it showed me, yep, this is not a game I'm gonna hand my money over. So yeah, that's where I am with Metroid Prime 4 right now, is it's kind of in that same box, like pre-release Suicide Squad, pre-release God of War Ragnarok, of, oh, I'm just not excited anymore. And that is just a shame, because I have been a huge Metroid fan ever since the first Prime game came out over 20 years ago. Well, guys, that's enough rambling for today. Go away now. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna end like that. That guy's a fascist. Bye-bye.